All right, so here's how everything is looking. The camera's looking really good. We got that set up with a nice wide angle that we're going to animate kind of like this. I think for the disc, I might actually just go, I think the height is okay, but I might make that just a little bit more, like that, somewhere in there. And let's take the move tool and let's move that back. Yeah, so you get something like that. Okay, and you'll see we're going to put a nice surface on there. It's going to make things look a lot better. And we'll take the big disc and just move it up. Maybe just a tad. Kind of like that. Fill the frame with it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so for the Solution Summit itself, this guy right here, looks kind of plain just sitting in front. So we want to curve it a bit to follow that background for two reasons. One, to give it a little bit of style, but also that's how we're going to animate it. And then we're going to make a copy of it and animate that in front of the lens. Because a lot of times all you're given from a client is a simple font and some colors. And in this particular job that I had, I pretty much had that. One basic font actually wasn't even as nice as this, and some colors. But by mimicking everything in your scene multiple times, you can create quite a nice presentation. So that's what we're going to do here. So from the Effects tab here, I'm going to choose Bend. And this works just like we did with the twist in the previous project. But I'm going to come over here, and I'm also going to rotate this guy first. I'm going to rotate it down about 90 degrees on the bank. And then I'm going to scale it out. And let's make sure, let's just do it this way. Come over to Bend because we want it just on the y-axis. Now it's expanding on the x because I rotated it, so just keep that in mind. Okay, and we're just going to make sure that that completely encompasses that object. And then of course let's increase the size this way a bit. And then let's move it down. Good. Okay, and then what we're going to do is take that bend and drop it into our text object. And if you look closely, there's a little tiny handle here, and I can now bend this any way I want. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just pull this backwards, just about like that, keeping it as level as possible. And what we could do is just, you can look at the angle this way, that way. Just need a little curvature in it. Don't need too much. Just enough because we're going to look at it from underneath and it's going to rotate around for us. So I think that's working just fine. Maybe we can go a little bit more. And if you hold your shift key, you can constrain as well. And if you go too far, it's going to start looking a little odd. All right, so that's good. So let's take the text now as an entire object and then just rotate it. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, we're going to rotate it this way. And this is where we're going to now move the object axis so that we have precise control of this thing. Okay, but what we're doing is lining it up here with the curvature in the back. So that when we get our camera down here, we have a nice dynamic look to this thing, like that. See, just a little bit of curvature. Doesn't change the fonts too much, still makes it readable. Okay. And that is why we saved an incremental version as well, because we didn't want to always have a curved version. Okay. So let's go to the next video and I'll show you how to set up your object pivots so that we can rotate this thing around our cylinder during our animation.